granddaughter Isabella and my daughter Heidi.
Hello.
Just a moment of explanation. I work with a group, non-paid, total volunteer, called Hasten International, which is Health and Salvation to Every Nation. We run medical clinics in 7 countries. We also plant a church everywhere we have a medical clinic because we feel that's really important. And in a lot of our countries, we also have schools. And this year, I asked Heidi and Izzy if they would like to come to Africa with me and experience what I do, which is going into the bush and ministering to the people out there, making sure they have appropriate food and water and all those things, and then make sure our medical clinics are supplied with their needs. They actually got to witness the birth of a baby at our clinic, which delivers about 30 babies a month. And we're going to show you a short video, kind of our journey and the people that we met and became all of our friends. That was a newborn baby. There was some music to that, but I don't know what happened to it.
It's all good. Technology.
When we go to Africa, we have a lot of things that we do. All of our people that work on the field are indigenous to that country. So our surgeons, our doctors are all African people. We're in Haiti, all of our doctors are Haitian doctors. That way we have no language barriers. It's a lot easier to support them. Most of the people already have their housing, so it's a lot less expensive. And that's how we can support 7 clinics and about 11 doctors and nurses on the field for $270,000 a year. We're very wise in what we spend. And I brought Izzy because this had been her first trip to Africa. Izzy, you want to step over here? And I'm going to kind of interview her. And Izzy had the opportunity to sleep in the bush. And when I mean sleep in the bush, we were in the bush with wild animals, lions, elephants, hippos, rhinos, giraffes, all kinds of wildlife. And we slept out there all night, not in an enclosure, but in the open. And I was a little nervous about that. So I slept in a chair by the fire all night, worried about getting drug off by a lion. But that was not an issue for Izzy. And Izzy, you want to tell us a little bit about that adventure?
Yes. It was really fun. We got to see loads of cute kids, and it was so cute. And we got to see the clinic and the newborn baby, and it was really nice. And I just loved it all. It was really fun.
What did you think when we were charged by African elephants?
Everything that I could possibly think in my life. Probably the the most worrying thing about that was probably the giant horns of the elephant, aka tusks.
Do you remember how he stopped the elephants?
Yeah. It was really cool. He put his hand out and he said calm, and it literally just went away. It was, he turned off the engine. It was really cool. He said calm, really calmly, and he said slow down, and it was like really cool and fun. And I saw the hand. I didn't know what was happening though, because it was like going away. I couldn't hear him over the engine stopping because he stopped the engine, and I was thinking about how weird that was. And I was scared to death. So that was fun.
But
Thank
you loved
you.
it.
Yeah. It was a fun but scary adventure.
One of our best friends is he runs a national park for the wildlife. There are no fences. All of these animals, it's over 28,000 acres of range. So they run wild. There are 150 African elephants in this one area. So he talks them down. He doesn't run, he doesn't shout at them, he just talks them down. They calm down and they walk away from the truck. And all three of those elephants were charging the truck until he started to speak to them. Yep, they were outside in the back of the truck. I was in the cab. True man. Is there anything else you want to say, Iz?
Go ahead.
Not really.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask your mom to speak then.
Okay.
A little bit about what we do there.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for having us today. This is a lovely group of people. The breakfast was amazing, and we're happy to be here. Okay, so let me just preface this by saying people thought we were absolutely insane to take a 9-year-old to Africa. I know Dad was approached by many people saying, how could you do this? It's not safe, blah, 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 blah. You know, we just went and we loved it. So I wanted to talk about a few things. Dhamma is where the medical clinic is. That's where we worshiped, where he preached, where Izzy and I ran the kids program with the missionaries and the volunteers. Basically, this kid got to sing, she got to dance, and she got to love on all of these African children, most of whom did not even have shoes. Yeah, like no shoes, very dirty clothes. We were all dirty by the end of the time we were there, but they were just dirty all the time. And she just hugged them and loved them, and they would touch her hair and touch her skin, and just they fought over who could hold her hand. And that was just so amazing for her to be able to share Jesus with a language barrier and for everyone to get it. She had a translator, and it was just an incredible experience. With that being said, too, we got to go to the clinic. We actually slept in the clinic. There's no electricity. She volunteered to sleep on the floor because there weren't enough beds. So she slept on the floor. I slept like on this little cot, and no electricity, like I said. So guess what? They deliver 30 babies a month in the dark sometimes. All they have are cell phone flashlights to do a C-section. So that's like a really interesting thing. You know, C-sections are major surgery. So just the fact that they only have a cell phone flashlight that could potentially run out of cell phone battery is terrifying to me. Like, I wish that they could have some sort of electricity just for the sheer fact of delivering these babies in a healthy way. So that's where we are with the clinic. As far as another reason that it was important for us to be there was to love on the missionaries. It's a hard job. They take a lot of grief from people, not the African people, but people that they work with for their missionary groups. I know one lady, she had a baby recently. She was struggling with postpartum depression, and she's alone, away from her family, in the middle of nowhere, Africa, Zimbabwe. It was 6 hours from the capital city just to get to where she lives. So that was important to be able to love on them. I personally had postpartum depression, so just to be able to have her relate to someone was incredible. We were able to spend time together. Izzy met missionary kids. She played. They never wanted to stop playing. She never wanted to leave. We had to drag her by her toes back to the United States. So, but I want to share with you the best part of my trip. All of this is great, wonderful, loved it. But the best part of my trip was seeing Izzy experience the world with her Poppy and I. There's nothing like seeing your kid experience the world in that way. She got to love people. She found joy in tough situations. This kid never complained one time, not once. It was brutal. The traveling alone, it took us 60 hours to get home. Just to give you an example of the travel. That's a long time to travel as a 9-year-old. That's a long time to travel as an adult. So she never complained. She did better than I did. But anyway, she got out of her comfort zone and she did it gracefully. From mission work to just immersing ourselves into their culture, sleeping under the stars, seeing the newborn baby, seeing kids just fawn over her. Because at first, I'm just going to be real, for the first hour they were terrified, they ran away. They had never seen a white American child before. They did not know what to think or do, but once they figured it out, it was love. So we also just got to see the beautiful country of Zimbabwe from traveling to the different missions and everything. It's a gorgeous country, gorgeous people. They're so kind and so intelligent and so just wonderful and hospitable, and it was the trip of a lifetime. And I think that's all I have to say. So,
Thank you.
there.
One of our projects is clean water, and we ran into some issues when we did this well. We drilled an artesian well because we couldn't get to clean water. We kept getting this salty kind of water, so we had to go deep. And once that was done, then we had to run from the pump to the clinic, which was the main water source area. Most of the village comes to the clinic area for medical reasons. They also come there for water. We dug a trench by hand for 2.5 miles because there were a couple landowners who would not allow us to cross their land. Now, they did tap into our water line, which I found out in my last trip there. Do you have a picture of
I was
those?
setting it up for you.
Let's, I want you to see this. This is the well we drilled, the artesian well. That is a German pump, and they don't break. They last for years and years and years. This is my crew. These are the guys. Oh, we got a baby in there.
That's what you wanted in there.
Yep, thank you. That's me laying concrete, which I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I did it anyway. And these are the guys laying the pipe. They laid 2.5 miles of pipe by digging it with shovels and picks. It was grueling work. Every day I asked them, what would you like? And they said a loaf of bread and some Cokes to drink. So we loaded up on that and also provided meats and cheeses for them. And they completed that entire project in less than 3 weeks. It was an amazing task. They covered up. You saw them laying the pipe for the well. And we're servicing about 25,000 people with that water pump. So that's kind of what we do and where we're at. And I also teach. I'm going back in February. I've been invited by the president of the university there to come and go into the prison there in Harare, which we would consider a federal prison. They're having great response of coming in and teaching the men there that there's hope, that there's a future for your life. So I'm going to spend 3 days doing that. And then also teaching prisoners who have come out of prison how to reinitiate their lives, how to restart their lives, and have a future in Africa. So it's going to be quite the adventure. I'm taking a U.S. Marshal from here. His name's Ross Hickling. He's going to be with me, and then another guy by the name of Todd Shears. And they're going to go and help me in the prison as we work through there. I think I'm out of time.